Today's Buckeye Roast, we preview the top games of the weekend, including the biggest matchups that could shape the early playoff picture. We'll put out a few teams that should be on upset alert this week and break down the latest changes to the transfer portal that every fan needs to know. Back in Columbus, Ryan Day's radio show gave us some fresh insight heading into week 2. And to wrap it up, our bold predictions for the Grambling game. Which Buckeyes make a statement on Saturday? I'm Chris Drew. This is the Buckeye Roast live with Ron and Q right here on Dead Air Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back for another episode of the Buckeye Roast. It's your boy, I guess they should call me Unfocused Ron. I don't know what the heck is going on today. It's your boy Ron James here with my guy QP Ski. Q. How you doing?
A little better now that you're in focus. It's like, where's he at? Somebody's talking. I don't know who it is.
It's like that cinematic blur when they open a movie.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to up the production value around here, Q. I figured I'd blur my camera to start the show.
Well, what am I to say about camera trouble? But I'm good, man. Solid weekend. Got to see The Conjuring last night. So if you like horror movies, I thought it was pretty solid. So got to watch that. But yeah, we're back in the weekend, second week of college football, and got some games to talk about.
Yeah, Q. We're actually live today, so I want to start with our normal live tradition. A big shout out to our guy Charles Green in the chat, the first person in the chat today. Drop an OH in the chat and make sure you smash that like button. But Q, normally we have a stat of the day, a number of the day, a trivia question, a not trivia question, something to start the show. And I figured I'd switch it up today. And this morning I have a confession for you.
So normally we have nothing, but continue.
I have a confession. You asked me the other day on the show, will I be watching the Downs to Business podcast? And I just said, I'm just too busy. I watch too many podcasts. I don't see how I'm going to get to it. Q, they have a regular subscriber in me now. I've watched both episodes. I really like the show. And I wanted to come back on here and say that. And make sure you go check that out. Tons of cool insight on there. They interviewed Will Howard this past episode. They had Ryan Day on the first episode. Caleb Downs and his brother do a really good job. One of the things I was interested in seeing is how do they do on a microphone. They're both great. I thought both episodes were really fun to listen to. A lot of cool insight. That's where we got the note about them calling Julian saying J. Cool. So yeah, just an overall solid little insight into the Ohio State program and a cool podcast. I did not think I would enjoy it as much as I did.
Well, that's good because I have some notes in here from the second podcast that we'll get to pretty soon. But yeah, I'm glad you like it. I'm sure they got a great producer behind the scenes teams, and they do a good job on mic. So can't complain.
Absolutely. Did you have anything national that you wanted to get to before we get to the show?
Yeah, I have a couple things, but we can play the music first, and we'll just jump right into it.
Sounds good. I will play. Q, take it away. You're the guy with the national topics to start the show. I need to get these tweets out because we are actually live.
I see you over there fighting to get the tweets out. So I got you. So, Ron, I got some recruiting budget news to talk for you because I know recruiting is your favorite subject. So
my favorite around here.
Yeah. So you could just, you got the graphic. I was like, you could just sit down and listen, but this is for you and the chat. So 2024's recruiting budget, I'm going to read it down, starting with Tennessee at the top, $5.3 million, Alabama second, 5.2, Texas A&M, 4.1, Georgia, 4.0, Oklahoma, 3.8, Ohio State, not on the list. Ron, do any of these numbers stick out to you, or are you surprised Ohio State's not on here and it starts with 6 SEC teams at the top?
I mean, with the way you hear people complain about Ohio State recruiting on the timeline, it doesn't surprise me that we're not on the list. We know Larry's getting up there in age and doesn't like to travel, so I doubt he's dipping into that recruiting budget too much. So that's probably the least surprising thing about this list is that Ohio State's not on there. Maybe the most surprising is the fact that USF is spending more than Ohio State.
Corona, I did some digging, and Ohio State was actually at 208th with $400 budget and Arby's coupon book. So a little bit of room to gain. Is there?
I did grab the wrong list. This is 2024, or maybe
that's the right list.
Oh yeah. How much people spent last year?
Yeah.
So I was looking at the chat. Someone said 2024. A list wrong or a question mark? Yeah, no. The data from last year was just released. Q, we talk about this all the time. I was like, I feel like we do such a better show because I get so distracted by the chat and we're over here cooking. We got the right graphic. We got this information laid out. And I look at the chat and I'm like, wait, am I wrong?
Well, Neo Ohio State fans, the spam call. If you have the 2025 list, please email it to us and we'll cover that one. But for now, this is the closest data we got. I would say, I mean, one, I'm not happy about the top 6 schools being all SEC. Penn State is number 1 on the Big Ten. I'm very surprised Oregon is down at 12. Now I know they spend an NIL, and this is not counting NIL, it's just overall recruiting budget. When players come for the weekend, they're hosting them. Obviously, we know Texas, that's where they do their Ferraris, and it would come out of that budget. I'm surprised Oregon is at 12. I'd say maybe that's my biggest surprise besides USF outspending Ohio State. But did anything stick out to you on this list?
That was a great shout as far as the 6 SEC schools at the top. Disappointing to see. I mean, Clemson at 7 is probably the next most surprising there. We know Dabo is very particular about how he spends God's NIL, but I mean, this really isn't NIL. This is the school's actual money that they use to, have recruiting events, to travel to go see recruits. So I don't know, man. Ohio State, a frugal bunch.
Yeah, I'd also say not Notre Dame, Nebraska and Minnesota. I mean, they're spending some money here. I need some better week 1 performances if you're going to be spending.
I was about to say they need a better return for their dollar.
Yeah. What are you spending it on exactly? So maybe
they're at Tootsie. They're big South Florida recruiters.
Maybe they need to push some of that money over to NIL. Do they need to pull the Ohio State and move down the list and shift it elsewhere? But I thought that was cool to look at. Second topic I wanted to talk about, unless you got anything else on this, or you good?
No, I'm good on this.
Okay. Second topic I want to talk about, and it's been the talk of the town all week. I mean, we started Monday through Friday, a bunch of retweets talking about
my good looks.
Yeah, that was another tweet. I sent that one out. So City Boy Quinn, if you're looking for that one. And smash that like while you're at it. Alabama, Kalen DeBoer. Ron, you've tweeted out. I've talked about it. People are pissed. All right. They are mad at the week 1 performance from Kalen DeBoer. They're talking about buying him out. Now, obviously, he has a hefty buyout. I think it was at $60 million when I looked it up. So that's some Jimbo level buyout. I mean, Ross Bjork would know about that. But I would say this. Ron, I want to ask you a couple questions. One, are the Bama boosters and the Bama audience, I mean the fans overall, overreacting to the week 1 performance?
No, they have established themselves as the only program that has national championship expectations every single year. Not go to a national championship, not compete to a national championship. Their fans expect to win a national championship every year. And when you're losing as many games to unranked opponents as Nick Saban did in 200 and something games, how can you blame them? They've established the standard. We say it all the time around here. The standard is the standard. They asked Jermaine Matthews, which he calls it the Jermaine Matthews standard. They asked him to explain it. He was like, being elite. Not much to it. Being elite and losing to Florida State week 1, an unranked opponent, is an elite.
Yeah, I understand that. They are I believe the stat was 5-5 in their last 10 games. So started out the last season pretty hot, and then it just fell off from there. I would say we all know, we all had fans of DeBoer. We all put him in our top 5 coaches. Are the expectations just a little too high? I mean, Nick Saban went on a legendary run. Like we're talking about NIL, before NIL, they were getting the best players year in, year out. Nick Saban, the best college coach that we've seen. DeBoer loses some games. He's not performing well, but we know he's a good coach. Are they just expectations just a little too high? Are you still sticking with the standards? The standard?
The standard's the standard. I don't think the expectations can be too high, especially when you're following the GOAT. When you sign up to follow Nick Saban, you understand the expectations. You know me, always with the Duke analogy. I mean, when John Shire took over for Coach K, the expectation was the expectation. No one was saying last year at the end of the season, wow, great run with Cooper Flagg. So glad that you guys made it as far as you did. No one said that. So we expect championships here. And the same expectation that fans in Tuscaloosa have the same expectations for Kalen DeBoer. They hired him understanding that they're supposed to win. Everybody talks about Ryan Day inheriting a Ferrari, being born on third base. He took over the program with the highest blue chip ratio in America, and he's out here losing to unranked teams. I have no sympathy for what's going on with Kalen DeBoer, especially because he has me looking out here looking like a big fucking goofy because I had him in my top 5 coaches in America last year. I have no sympathy. I'm just as mad as the boosters. He got me looking like a clown.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. In Duke basketball, it's a good shot. I mean, as long as they avoid Lehigh, they should be fine and able to make a tournament run. But we'll talk about that at another time. I want to ask you this final question on DeBoer here. Is DeBoer, and this is for you in the chat, how long does DeBoer have in Tuscaloosa? If you put your genie hat on, you already got a hat on, so put it to tell the future. How long does DeBoer have in Tuscaloosa? Is he the coach of the future? Or I'll say this, over under a year and a half from right now.
Year and a half? I thought you were going to use the metric of games to get this done. I'd be shocked if he is still the coach by the time we play Penn State on November 2nd.
Okay, he would definitely. They're not dropping at 70 million in the middle of the season. At least by the end of the season, they would get him out. But I would say
you're telling why wait? What benefit do they have outside of letting him come in, secure the roster before the transfer portal opens up, like the way they got fleeced out of Caleb Downs and Julian Sand last time they lost a coach? Why not get DeBoer out now? Get John Gruden in. Build up the hype, secure your roster, and then you're rolling.
That is quite the plan you have there. Just throw it in John Gruden.
I mean, better than some of the other suggestions that I've seen by Alabama fans, like hiring Will Muschamp. Like, ooh. Are we serious?
Muschamp and Bama, I'm here for it. All right, so I guess you're saying less than a year and a half. I don't know where I'm at with DeBoer. I feel like he's a really good coach. I think the seat's hot and he's going to hold ship. I think he'll be there longer than a year and a half. I think it's some overreactions coming through. I mean, John Gruden's a little crazy, but I'll tell the over. You're taking
Brian Hartline, next head coach at Alabama.
You heard it here first, but in the chat, let me know if DeBoer is the coach of the future down at Bama. I'm just laughing because it's finally like, oh, you finally got that taste of reality. You finally had to go competitive field, and now you're losing to Florida State. Albeit a good program, you can't handle it. So have fun down there in Tuscaloosa. All right, moving on. You did say you watched the Downs podcast. So if you also watch the Downs podcast, make sure you like the video, subscribe here to Dead Air Sports, and also retweet this video if you are on Twitter and hit that like button.
We also have a new plug queue before we get into the Downs to Business podcast. I have a funny story. So if you've noticed, we haven't mentioned the @DeadAirSports Twitter account on here. We're big on Twitter, but we haven't mentioned @DeadAirSports. Well, that was because someone else took it. And they were quietly building this Twitter behind our back, and I haven't been mentioning it, hoping no one would notice. And it got to the point where I was like, wow, man, this thing's starting to get some traction, and I can't get Twitter to give me the account back as someone impersonating me. I'm starting to freak out here. I'm going to have to tell people this account's not fake. I mean, this account's not real. Well, I have news, Q. It was a viewer of the show that supports us that created the account, and they actually gave it back to us yesterday. So we have the official @DeadAirSports Twitter account. So not only do we need you to smash that like, not only do we need you to follow us on Twitter, we need you to follow us here on Dead Air Sports. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, but follow us on Twitter @Dead Air Sports as well to stay up to date with everything related to the Buckeye Roast, I-71 Rundown, all of Chris Drew's side quests going on. He has a Michigan conspiracy rabbit hole that he goes down every night on the channel on live. So make sure that you are tuned in over here at Dead Air Sports. Follow us on Twitter at Dead Air Sports. A big shout out to our guy, Mike, who's on X right now and just reposted the stream. But Q, I had to do that little piece of housekeeping. I figured you would find it hilarious because I saw the account and I had my suspicions about who it was. I thought someone was trolling us. And when they first created the account, all I said was cool. And when I said cool, I was the exact opposite of cool. There was steam coming out of my ears. And then I eventually just messaged the account and said, hey, why are you doing this? And they said, just a big fan, and gave the account back. So a shout out to our guy. I don't know if they want their name revealed, but they have been a day one supporter. So shout out to him. Appreciate him for being so cool and looking out for us and getting us that account. So make sure you follow us over there at Dead Air Sports on Twitter as well.
Yeah, we'll be the first person to get some merch whenever we make it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've had some beef with accounts before, but that's for another show. Okay. All right. Make sure you like that video and follow Dead Air Sports on Twitter. I want to talk about the Downs to Business podcast. So a couple things here that I thought. First one is absolutely hilarious just for me. So Caleb Downs talked about Matt Patricia coming in and he fixed Ohio State's catapult system. Now, if you don't know what the catapult system is, it's basically like the sports bra looking black thing that says catapult that all the players wear, and it basically tracks their distance, their top speed, their power output, basically a sports science like analytics kind of apparel. So he came in and he said, this thing is unusable. I don't know what kind of stuff y'all are doing here, but I'm not able to track anything.
No. I think you're misunderstanding what he was referring to. He wasn't talking about the like sports science tracking. He was talking about Catapult, their film system for their practice footage and game footage. So he reorganized how the film is structured inside the Catapult system. So when they're viewing the film on their iPads, it's easier for them to dissect, and he's able to structure it in a way that it more aligns with what he needs them to learn and see. He's like, there's no way I can operate under this structure with the film organized like this. So it helped facilitate the learning process of them learning Matt Patricia's defense simply by restructuring how the film was organized and how it was distributed to players. And that was one of the first things that he noticed when he came in, that the film structure was completely out of whack, and got it in order for the players. And Caleb Downs said that it's been a huge help. And that was one of the first things that Matt Patricia did when he came in.
So the film was unusable with the way they tracked it.
Yes.
Gave it out to the player. Okay, there we go. All right. So I thought that was a good story, but it tells you how smart Matt Patricia is. He just comes in, and we've heard that term, the rocket scientist, and obviously he's coming in and he's like, hey, in the NFL we do things differently, and let me pass that out to the players. So that was the first part, but I'm not done with the Matt Patricia news. The second is he talked about the identity going into week one, and we talked about this last year, and they had come out and said it. Jim Knowles will go out with a major play sheet, and they talked about it when they went to play Oregon, of defense they're going to run. There was a lot of options cutting it down. Caleb Downs said they know better what they were going to play in week one and help them come out with a better identity for week one. No shouting. I mean, no disrespect to Jim Knowles. We had the number one defense around, but does that make you feel even more comfortable with the play caller we have at Ohio State?
Absolutely. You lose a guy like Jim Knowles and you're like, man, we just had the best defense in the country. How do we find a way to replace him? And then you hear the rave reviews about Matt Patricia. I said yesterday on my radio hit in Lima, I said, I hope we could find him. I don't know if Matt Patricia is married, but if there are any single women that are Buckeye fans that want to marry Matt Patricia and keep him locked down here in Columbus, please go find him at your local establishment.
There you go. Free burgers for life. Worked for Jim Harbaugh. Okay. All right. Got one more before we get into games. I want to talk about Ross Bjork, and I want to get your opinion and the chat's opinion on this. So Ross Bjork comes out. Sometimes he says stuff I'm happy with. Sometimes he says stuff I'm questionable on. This one falls in the more questionable. But he says the college football playoff expansion would be good for the sport. I guess going up to 24 teams and playing it from there. Ron, I want to get your opinion. We had 16 right now, or no, we're at 12 right now. I'm happy with 12. I don't think we need to go any farther than that because we're going to talk about teams that should not be playing for a national championship. What do you think? Do you think we need an expansion? Are you happy with 12? Do you think we need to go back down to 8? Like, where are you at with this college football playoff picture?
I don't think we need to move again, but I preferred 8. I don't think that there is a need to expand the playoffs. Like, how many teams past the top 6 do you think not named Michigan can beat Ohio State right now?
Just Boise State.
Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Why do we need 16 teams? It's all just about money. Why even? How about, hear me out. How about we call the entire season a playoff and all 135 teams are competing for the national championship? And instead of having a playoff, we just let the computers pick. And then it's just like the entire season's a playoff.
I mean, that's what they called the BCS.
Or like, hear me out. How about we get 5 conferences where we group teams together regionally, and then we have a championship, and then we pick the 2 best teams and have them play for championship at the end of the year.
5 conferences? That's a madhouse. Why not 4?
I'm just spitballing, Q. I don't know if any of these things could work. I you know what I mean? I'm not in charge of college football. I'm no Josh Tate. I'm not the next commissioner of college football. I'm just spitballing.
I don't think you could do a worse job than some of the decisions I've seen in college football, but I will say I don't want to go any further than 12. I think 8 is fine. You're not going to find 8 teams who are going to win a national championship in a given year unless it's just a crazy year. But I think I'm not mad at 12. I mean, I like giving the non-power 5 team a chance. Obviously,
I don't. I honestly, I hate it. I truly hate it. I feel like those games against these teams that have no chance of winning a national championship is just an opportunity for someone's quarterback to get hurt and them not win a national championship because they were playing Boise State.
Oh, I mean, Penn State was happy about it. They ended up in the top 4 for a chance to go to the
Natty. I mean, I guess it's a chance for like mid coaches like James Franklin to pad their stats and be like, well, I made it to the playoffs. I won the playoff.
I just feel like if we have, and this is rarely, but if we have a deserving non-power 5 team like a UCF or whatever you felt like they're deserving, like they're not going to get a chance without that guaranteed qualifier in there. So without that, they would never get in. I mean, the SEC would have threw a fit to get all their teams in before Boise State last year. So I don't mind it. I'm cool with 12. If we're not doing 12, we can go back down to 8 and call it a day. But Ross Bjork, the AD here, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. All right, Ron, we got to talk about upsets, but before we do that, as you get your last tweets out, make sure you like that video, hit those comments, hit those questions. Obviously, we are live in here, so we can hit those as we see them. But yeah, make sure you like that video on all platforms, and don't forget, follow Dead Air Sports on Twitter, and like and retweet the video if you're watching from over there. Ron, we're talking upset games. What's on your mind this week?
Hugh, I talked about this game a little bit yesterday. I wanted to bring it up again because the line continues to go down. Illinois only a 2.5-point favorite over the Fighting Manny Diaz's in the Duke Blue Devils. I'm a big Manny Diaz fan. I think that he walked so Mario could run at Miami. He didn't have the resources. He still competed down there. He went and retold the defense at Penn State. He gets the job at Duke, goes out and gets another quarterback in Darian Mensah. I think this is going to be a really tough game for Illinois. I'd like for Big Ten supremacy for them to get this win, but I feel like this could be a closer game than people are expecting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, we talked about how much money they went out. We know in basketball, they're definitely throwing the money around. But in football, Manny Diaz is over there trying to get some money on that end. And of course, he has a $4 million quarterback? Was he $4 million? One of the two. So, I mean, obviously, you got the quarterback in place. I mean, I think I'm gonna be a homer. I think Illinois will win comfortably in this game, but I can see it being on upset watch. You got to go to Duke. You got to get a win, and obviously, the quarterback played well in the first game. So, I'm rocking with Illinois here, but let me get some score predictions in the chat. What do you think the score is going to be as Illinois travels to Duke this weekend?
Another game that I have on upset alert, and I mean, we talked about this yesterday. I talked about the cluster of 3 teams that I think are really exciting to watch in college football on the outside looking in of the playoff picture right now, and that's Florida State, Florida, and the team up north. And I have Florida, despite the fact that they're not leaving the state, on upset alert against USF based on the performance that we saw against a Boise State to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, if USF goes and plays like that, I mean, they might be able to play with Florida, depending on how good Boise State actually is. So it's probably not very good. But yeah, trap game in state. I'm interested with Lagway. We're both big Lagway fans, so if he can go out here and say if Lagway can go out there and continue his Heisman campaign, he was what 4 or 5 in the Heisman that list that we had? I forget from yesterday, but Lagway's up there, so interested to see. I'm interested to see, man. And obviously Florida bouncing back. They played good ball last season, but a lot of losses. And we talked about they have one of the toughest schedules in college football this season. Was it 9 ranked games, I believe, or 9?
I mean, 9 SEC ranked games, so it's like you got to put an asterisk next to it, like it's a Michigan championship.
Man, you know, I actually came across my Twitter yesterday. Talking about, well, first of all, somebody swapped out the picture of Arch and put Dak Prescott in the helmet wearing number 16 for Texas. And it should be about the rabbit hole to Dak Prescott at Mississippi State when they were number 1 in the country. They ended up losing like 3 games that year, but I ended up looking at like the final ranking. And of course, the best Alabama was at number 1 with 1 loss, but the best 1-loss team was the SEC team. The best 2-loss team was the SEC team, and insert 3, 4, and 5 lost there. So I'm like, damn, these teams are really overinflated when you go throughout history. I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, we will see how Florida breaks out this season. You got one more, UCLA and UNLV.
Yeah, Nico Iamaleava looked like an absolute dumpster fire last week for UCLA. No wide receivers, no offensive line, weren't able to stop anyone. UNLV has an absolute psychopath and Vontaze Burfict on their staff. That simple fact alone is making me lean UNLV. But when you look at the line, the spread is way closer than one would expect. I believe it is under 3. Big Ten team, and it's like, man, did we really need them? Looking at the way this program looks right now, it's like if we're moving to a Power 2 conference, we might need relegation from the Big Ten.
A little Premier League introduced. There's some teams that can definitely go based on week 1 performances. Yeah, UCLA, I think they're making $50 million. No reason you should have a -3 against UNLV. I understand UNLV has a ton of transfers, obviously new coach in there, Vontaze Burfict. So we will see. But again, Nico was throwing to us last week. Let's see if the wide receivers can play a little better. They can put some points up, man. Come on. Nico out there, give me more than 6. At least 10.
Absolutely. You get a 5-star quarterback, and you might as well at least let him go out there and run the Kyle McCord Syracuse offense, right? 60 attempts a game.
Air it out. Just throw it. Hey, everybody run to the middle. I'm just going to throw it up. We might have better production than we did last week. So that's all the upset alert games. But if you have upset alert games, let us know. Put them in the comments, and we'll try to find those later and talk about them.
Q, okay. I have one more upset.
Okay.
There's 50 people watching right now, and only 16 have liked the video. A massive upset statistically. Make sure you guys smash that like button. We have a goal of 100 likes per episode, so make sure you hit that like button. If you're watching on Twitter, go ahead and retweet the broadcast. We had some technical difficulties this morning. I just looked down and saw our numbers are super low because our original broadcast tweet was not working, so I had to tweet it back out again because the link was not working. So if you're on Twitter, go ahead and throw us a retweet. A little bit of trouble this morning. If you're watching on Twitter, come over and find us on YouTube. It helps us even more if you watch over here. Smash that like button. Q, still plenty to talk about. We have some changes in college football, a change to the transfer portal.
Yes, so you have the note here, change the transfer portal. The proposed, good Lord, it's early. The proposed transfer window would be
Start it over. How about one more time? Go ahead, take a deep breath, Chuckles.
The proposed loan transfer window would be a 10-day period that opens up January 2nd, 2026, one day after the college football playoff quarterfinals are completed. The Division I Administrative Committee must approve for the legislative changes before it can take effect. The vote would be expected before October 1st.
A massive change in college football transfer portal. It would be a reduction in transfer portal windows. They would eliminate the spring transfer portal window and have a lone transfer portal window at the beginning of January. Q, your thoughts on reducing the ability for these guys to transfer 2 times in 1 year?
I mean, I don't mind a transfer portal window after spring ball and right as the end of the season hits. Obviously, there's guys who are in programs who are ready to get up out of there even before bowl season starts. So I don't mind the two. I mean, you push it back to 1, it kind of makes it hard for guys in the spring to be like, hey, I need to get out of here because I'm not going to play this season and I need to go somewhere else that I could have played. So I don't mind the two. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, we've even had talks of 3, and I was like, okay, 3 is a little ridiculous, but I'm okay with the 2 as long, it gives guys a chance to say, hey, I was going to compete for a position like Lincoln Kienholz to say this season if he lost out, lose out in the battle at quarterback and say, hey, I'm cooked in the spring. Let me go someplace else and try to get a starting job. So I don't mind the 2 so much. I think 1, you're really asking some guys to make tough decisions before they have to.
Yeah, definitely asking guys to make tough decisions. Ross Bjork came out, and while he was a fan of the 1 transfer portal window, he wanted it to be the spring portal. I think the spring makes a little bit more sense as well. But at the same time, as far as a team that does pretty well in the transfer portal, I like it because it guarantees any transfer that we get is going to get here and have an entire spring and be ready to go. So I do like it from that aspect.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind 1 if it was after the spring, just because I feel like a lot of guys, especially freshmen that come into programs, they kind of ditch out before they're able to embrace the program. We talk about it. You got to at least go through a spring or 2 before you're really in the program. So I think if you're going to have 1, definitely move it back after spring and let those guys go through a full season. A lot of them come in the summer. In the summer, so they miss spring ball the first time around. So them go through a whole spring and then say, okay, let me figure out if this is for me or not. So if there's going to be 1, I would suggest pushing it back later. But, obviously they have different plans in the NCAA because they just do stuff just to do stuff. Nothing actually helps, but we got to do something.
We got to do something. We got to justify taking all this money from these players, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing if they're hiring. This might not be a bad gig. What you do today at work? Absolutely nothing necessary. Everything unnecessary.
They're over there eating 5-star lunches because Michigan's paying a fine for cheating. Nobody's paying the players, but they're eating good in the NCAA offices.
It just feels like it in my job sometimes where I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? Nothing I need to do, but morale is high. Having a great time. I don't want to do
What's he do around here? Vibe. Here for the vibes.
Oh, man. Okay. You put notes in for Ryan Day's radio show.
Yeah, I wanted to pivot and talk a little Buckeyes. We've done a lot of national talk today. I don't know how much more you want us to discuss Grambling. We're going to get into our bold takes in a minute, but I really don't have a team breakdown for you there. So Ryan Day's radio show yesterday, he emphasized, maybe Ryan Day's a watcher of the show, I'm just saying, we put a secret weapon on the cover of yesterday's episode. It was James Peoples and it was not James Peoples. It was Bo Jackson. And Ryan Day comes out and emphasizes that both CJ Donaldson and James Peoples are considered starters at Ohio State. And you know what I say here on the Buckeye Roast? If you have 2 running backs, your starter's Bo Jackson.
The first time you said
the tried and true saying.
Continue.
No, I wanted to ask you your thoughts there. He says that they have 2 starters, and it's just like you go back and rewatch the film, and it doesn't look like it. And then you look at the running or the touches between the 2 and the split, and it's 2-1 Donaldson over Peoples. We'll see. And I keep prefacing all of the criticism of the running backs with James Peoples could go out and run for 200 yards, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say definitely it goes into Ryan Day's trust. I mean, we've heard the hype. I mean, we heard more hype coming out of camp of James Peoples than CJ Donaldson, even though he gets to start. So obviously he had the trust securing the ball and making sure. And I think that was the biggest thing against Texas. Run hard, don't turn the ball over, and let's do our best to get out of here with a win. Now you're looking at these next 2 opponents saying, hey, like, let's get these guys some minutes and see what they can do here. So I would say you'll probably see a better split going forward than you did against Texas, just because that was such a hype game. And obviously you don't want to, we talked about it yesterday. I'm glad we won, but that loss would have really made the season look like, oh, we got some games here. make sure we can't really lose many more. So definitely want to get the win. I think, again, James Peoples is a super talented back. Like you said, he'd go out and run for 200 yards. I think he will get an even split of the carries, along with Bo Jackson getting some carries we talked about yesterday. So I am buying some James Peoples hype. Definitely, he's young, only a true sophomore. CJ Donaldson came in, and obviously he impressed both of us on Saturday. So definitely deserves a shout. But yeah, we will see these next 2 weeks. It's hard to judge yet, but we'll see in 2 games where James Peoples is at.
Absolutely. I've said on this show multiple times this year, I'm trying to do a better job of trusting the coaching staff. They just won a national championship. I try not to be skeptical. We watched Devin Sanchez get out on the field early. So clearly, if you're showing it in practice, you're going to find your way on the field, and they're rewarding young guys. I would imagine Bo Jackson gets touches this week. So that's something to keep an eye on. But hey, I want to believe in James Peoples. That's what the coaching staff keeps telling us. I've yet to see it. And when I do see it, I cannot wait to celebrate it. But I have not seen what the coaches have seen. They've watched him flash in practice. We haven't seen the big James Peoples moment yet in game. And I think this could be the week.
Yeah, Ron, you know what I always say, and I actually do say this. No more practice All-Americans. I need to see it on Saturdays. If he's actually flashing and he's balling out in practice, give him some touches on Saturday. Let's really see what he can do. I'm tired of these guys behind, I'll call it the paywall, behind the paywall, and they're absolutely balling out in practice. I'm like, man, I've never seen him catch one ball on Saturday. Like, put him out there. Let me see what he can do. So hopefully Ryan Day gives us what we wanted to see, and a lot of guys, they play a lot of depth Saturday and rotate.
Yeah, another guy that the Buckeyes can expect to see more and more this season is Peyton Pierce. Ryan Day mentioned that on his radio show, and I think that's huge for the Buckeyes defense. I feel like Peyton Pierce is one of those X-factor type players, because if he's able to play at a high level where they don't feel like there's a drop-off at the linebacker position, I think that just makes his defense even more multiple with the way they're able to move Arvell Reese around if they're able to bring in Peyton Pierce, a guy that they're also confident in having in at linebacker.
Yeah, somebody we didn't talk. We talked a little bit maybe about it, but not much after Saturday against Texas. We both watched the film. What grade would you give Peyton Pierce? A to F. Obviously didn't get an F, but for his first performance out against Texas.
I mean, I would have to be completely honest. I didn't do too much individual watching of Peyton Pierce, but I did see him flash a few times out there. I would give him a B. I would be lying if I said that on my last film watch that Peyton Pierce
was the guy you're looking
was
at
the guy that I was prioritizing watching. I've only rewatched the game one time, and that was not a focus player of the game. When he was out there, it did, you know what I mean, raise my eyebrows. Not that I'm questioning it, but it piqued my interest to see that he was able to get out there, because that usually meant that Arvell Reese was lined up somewhere funky. So I did enjoy that. So yeah, I mean, I hope he's able to continue to go out there and get reps and continue to develop, because again, we've talked about Arvell Reese being a guy that we could potentially see in the NFL next year. Peyton Pierce is going to be a valuable part of next year's defense, and according to Ryan Day, this year's defense as well.
Yeah. As a guy who watched, maybe paid attention to him a little more, I'll back you. I'll give him a B for Saturday. I thought he played pretty well, was pretty gap sound. He could block a couple times, but again, he's a young player. So definitely time to adjust. But yeah, if he is able to come in and hold it down, you can move Arvell Reese around, which they did on Saturday. That's very important, because as we've seen, he's probably our best pass rusher. I mean, Kienholz Jackson did get hurt, so love to see him get back out there. And Caden Curry absolutely flashed on Saturday. I got to give him a lot more praise. But Arvell Reese out there, being able to move him around and have him rush the passer is very important. So glad to see Peyton Pierce get more reps if that's what I could get. You know, I want to be happy. So Peyton Pierce play more so I can see more pass rushes.
I couldn't agree more. Ryan Day had high praise for Carnell Tate's performance on my film rewatch. That was my offensive MVP. Caleb Downs, he gave him a shout out on the Downs to Business podcast. Carnell Tate out there doing everything, all the dirty work, and also making the massive plays when we need them. Everything that's asked of him, whether it's a flashy play or whether it's the dirty work, He's out there. He's willing to do it. Carnell Tate, my MVP. Ryan Day giving him a shout out. Your thoughts on how tough Carnell Tate played in week 1?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was a monster on Saturday. I came in here on Monday and I said, we gotta give this guy more touches. Like, I get it. It's about like we proud towards JJ. We make sure we give him the ball. I think Cardinal T on the other side is the guy who should take those Emeka touches from last year. Like, we got to find more ways to get this guy the ball. You see him make a big play on Saturday, and that's what everybody remembers. But the blocking, running routes, creating separation, like he was really doing it all on Saturday. So I was impressed with Cardinal Tate's performance. He was your MVP, so obviously he did something right because you had 3 SFE guys to choose from, so you plenty of options. Yeah, I mean, I think Cardinal Tate four
Evan
options.
Sanchez played.
So I think Cardinal Tate, you got to look at him like, we got to get this guy 4 or 5 touches a game, like minimum. Like, we got to at least get him 5 targets, see what he can do out there, and make sure we get him the ball. So definitely looking to see more of him on Saturday. And your other guy, Brandon Ennis, tough matchup against Texas, but it's time for him to break out. We need to see it.
Absolutely. Another guy that Ryan Day expects to play on Saturday is Lincoln Kienholz, a guy that I feel like is going to be important to this team going forward. We've watched the value of the backup quarterback at Ohio State or even the third string quarterback at Ohio State in certain years. We know it is a super important position here, and it looks like Lincoln should get his opportunity. We've talked about in years past, like when we had battles with Kyle and Devin, that we really didn't get a good amount of snaps because they're too busy trying to get Kyle comfortable in the offense. But I think Julian's going to be able to go out there and run up the score and hopefully allow Lincoln to get some touches.
Yeah, I mean, really, we haven't seen Lincoln since Missouri. Like, that's really the last time we got to see him actually go out there and play some snaps. So it'll be good to see him on Saturday. I'm gonna go with Ryan Day Shore and say he's gonna get some snaps, and there'll be some wrinkles in there for him. But I'm interested to see him play, man. Let's talk about the development of our backup quarterback, which you talk about is very important here because you never know week to week. So hopefully Lincoln goes out there and balls, and hopefully we run up the score, man. I want to see some highlights. We talked about our little intro for the Chris Drew Sports, and we said we got to get some highlights and we can kind of adjust this a little bit. So I need them cooking. I need some highlights from the media team so that intro can get a little bit better.
Trying to level up the intro. Shout out to our guy Chris Drew, who does the intro for us every morning. Super thankful for him, and love the intro every day. I wanted to pivot to the last thing that Ryan Day talked about, and maybe it's a narcissist in me, but he brought up the fact that JJ was on punt, and that's something that they continue to do, and that wasn't something that they really anticipated getting out before the game. Whoops. Because I tweeted on 8-1 while I was at practice, Jeremiah Smith is on punt return right now. And obviously to the lunatic fringe, that is not a popular take, seeing Jeremiah Smith back there, and they reacted accordingly. And I thought it was funny that Ryan Day said we didn't expect that to get out. And I was like,
my bad.
You showed it at a public practice. What do you mean?
Oh man, yeah, I am not the biggest fan of JJ on punt return with the rest of the lunatic fringe. I just think like Jeremiah Smith's so important, but also too, you got 20, 30 freak athletes on this team. Like, find a way to get another guy some touches. If you start your job, unless you were the best punt returner in the country, your job shouldn't really be I gotta go return punts. Play on offense. We got Mylan Graham. I don't know, we got Devin Sanchez. We got all these guys that are great athletes that could use another touch in the game. So plenty of guys to choose from. I don't need Jeremiah Smith for getting a fair catch of somebody running 20 miles an hour and trying to smack him down the field. I just don't need that.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Shout out to our guy, Cleveland Mike in the chat. He also does not like it. Our guy Farva is not a fan. Tyler, not a fan. So man,
Parker Fleming days. Like, who's our best player? I'll put him out there. Like, that's not how kick and punt return work. Like, it's
not a fan of it at all. But Q, title of the show: Shocking Ohio State bold takes. Week 2 versus Grambling. I don't know how bold your takes can get when you're playing against Grambling, but we're gonna try here, Q.
Bet the over.
Bet the over. I mean, last week we were over heavy, and man, the unders were killing it. I think the unders in week 1 all across all across college football, I think it was like 85% or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah. Okay. You want to start? You want me to start? Then in the comments, make sure you put your bold takes for Saturday. So let us hear them. Mike, I want to hear a couple from you because I know your takes can get a little crazy. I'm just
Here's a bold take from our guy Johnny. Y'all want him to win the Heisman. Punt returns will help. I don't know how bold that is. I mean, might be a good shout.
I mean, yeah, it would help, but it also could hurt. So I'll take him winning the Heisman at receiver, not return punts. All right, Ron, you want to go first? Or want me to go first?
You can go first.
I got one. A classic. Somebody in the chat will remember this. I am predicting 2 defensive touchdowns on Saturday.
What?
Yes. Classic throwback to last season. I think Matt Patricia's defense is going to confuse the Grambling quarterback. And I think my defense come up with 2 defensive touchdowns. Go ahead and bet it. I told you about Florida State last week. How much more money do you want from me? Well, I'm giving it to you right now. 2 defensive touchdowns on Saturday.
Was that you or Chris that gave that take last year and it actually hit?
That was Chris and it hit.
Yeah, so Q trying to pull a Chris here. If 2 defensive touchdowns happen on Saturday, I'm not going to say that I would do anything crazy because it might actually happen. But that's definitely bolder than I was going to go. I mean, I guess I'm going to fucking throw a wet blanket on this thing and say my bold take is that all 3 quarterbacks are going to play. my bold prediction is that all 3 quarterbacks are going to play. Ryan Day said that they're going to try to, or they expect to get Lincoln on the field, and if possible, they're going to get Tavian out there. I think the Buckeyes are going to have enough of a lead that they're going to find a way to get Tavian out there. Given the idea that he is the quarterback of the future, I think they're going to find at least 4 opportunities to get him on the field and use up his red shirt eligibility, not burn it, but use the 4 games allotted to him as a red shirt and at least get him some game experiences. And I think Saturday will be one of those opportunities.
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. Chris is wild in the chat right now, but we're just going to go ahead and ignore anything he said. Okay. So you got all 3 quarterbacks will play. You probably took one of mine, so I think we'll meet together on this. I also am on the CJ Hicks 2 sacks train on Saturday, along with you, because you wrote that in there.
Absolutely, yes. I have CJ Hicks with 2 sacks in this game. I think this is an opportunity for, 1, they're going to have to get after the passer because they're going to be throwing the ball a ton, and 2, I think that given what we saw CJ Hicks flash against Texas, I feel like the drop in competition is going to allow CJ Hicks to show a lot more of what he's capable of. One of my takeaways when I was at camp was, man, this guy is just moving at a different speed than everyone else in the room. And they're like, well, yeah, it's because he's lighter than everybody. I'm like, not really. Like, he's up to almost 240 pounds and he's still flying off that edge. That's still, NFL. That's Colin Simmons, measurements. So that's a guy to keep an eye on. And I think 2 sacks would have the lunatic fringe in a craze on Saturday.
I will agree. I think it'll be a nice coming out party and build momentum going into the season. Ron, I got a bold one for you, and I don't know how far I want to go with this, but I am feeling, and I got 2 players I'm looking out for. I'm feeling a touchdown catch. I'm going to go fully bold. I'm going to go Bryson Rodgers touchdown catch on Saturday.
Honestly, I don't hate it.
Okay.
I don't hate it. Bryson Rodgers has put in the work and proven that he is the number 4 wide receiver in this room, despite a fan club for the number 5 receiver who happens to wear number 5. I think both of those guys will get an opportunity. He definitely possesses the speed. It's just going to be a lot of mouths to get fed on Saturday, and everybody who gets the ball is going to have to make the most of their opportunities. So I do think that is a bold take, because I do think while he will get a significant amount of playing time, I don't know how limited his touches will be in his opportunities to score. So if he does make the most of his opportunity, I do think that he will. I do think that is a pretty bold take if he does get a chance to find his way into the end zone.
There we go. All right. I feel validated now. I'm glad I've seen and heard.
All right. Well, I'm going to I'm going to go a little bit more bold on this one, and I am going with 3 SFE touchdowns.
Ooh,
and that allows me to have 4 potential players get in the end zone, and some of them multiple times. I am predicting at least 3 touchdowns contributed by Carnell, Tate, Brandon Ennis, Jeremiah Smith, Mylan Graham, and Devin Sanchez.
Okay, can I ask who gets these 3 touchdowns? Can I push it a little further?
No, is it not bold enough that I have attributed 3 touchdowns to a single 7-on-7 program?
Can I ask who gets the most surprising touchdown out of that group? Can I just give you one? Who's the most surprising touchdown that will happen on Saturday?
I think Mylan Graham gets a touchdown. I feel like since he's not in the starting rotation, I think he finds a way to get on the board. I'm not even confident that it's only 3, and I mentioned 4 wide receivers, but I could see a scenario where you see a double Carnell Tate touchdown day, a double Jeremiah Smith touchdown day, plus 1 of the other guys. But man, if they really spread the wealth and we see 3 SFE receivers get touchdowns Saturday, I'm gonna be on the timeline lying.
All right, there we go. Let's see, how bold can we go?
I'm already bald. I'm not trying to go any bolder. We're trying to go bold around here. I know it's 5 a.m. Q, but lock in. I don't have any follicles to spare around here. We're not going any bolder.
That's okay. Well, I at least got one to spare right here. I am going Malik Hartford, big hit on Saturday.
What are we classifying as a big hit? If I don't see someone's head rolling around on the field, I don't know if I'm giving you credit. I've watched him decapitate people in high school, and I expect to see heads roll on Saturday.
I need everyone to leave the game safe and sound and no decapitations and somebody picking up the helmet and the head falls off. I seen that last night watching The Conjuring. So I don't need no more of that. But I'm going Malik Hartford big hit. I think he's going to get a big opportunity on Saturday. And I think that we know him as a headhunter. We know him as the guy who definitely threatens wide receivers going over the middle. So I think we will get one nice hit on Saturday.
Q, Rod asks, does Quincy Porter score a touchdown? I've already given out. Q has 2 defensive touchdowns. I have 3 SFE touchdowns. I have Bo Jackson scoring 4 touchdowns. It's going to be 119-7 by the time we get through our bold takes. Another one over under 0.5 targeting. We're getting one this season. I know it. I guarantee it.
I will take the over. A lot of guys are going to be anticipating making a big play on Saturday. I can see the refs just throwing one. They're like, all right, you hit that guy a little too hard. Flag. So I will go over.
Mike makes an excellent point here. I can expand my SFE touchdowns to Bryce West and Aaron Scott. Both of them also offer opportunities on the defensive side of the ball to score for the Buckeyes. Some Ohio SFE guys.
Yeah, Bryce West, pick 6 at the end of the game to secure that second Ohio State defensive touchdown.
Someone called Mr. Worldwide in the chat earlier today, and it's more like SFE Worldwide. You got Ohio SFE, you got Texas SFE, you got Florida SFE, guys. You got a lot of opportunities out there on the field, Q.
There we go. All right, Ron. Next bold take from you. I think I did my last one.
Yeah, this is my last one, and I'm sticking on the defensive side of the ball. I think we see Bo Atkinson get after the quarterback and register a full solo sack this week. He had 6 or 7 last year at North Carolina. I don't think he had the greatest game against Texas, but it is a long season and chance for him to continue to get better. And I think Grambling is one of those opportunities where he finds a way to register a sack.
Okay. I got another question for you. Take out Bo Jackson because we talked about him ad nauseum. Who's a non-starter that we are going to, and this is for you in the chat, who's a non-starter that we're going to leave talking about on Monday's show from the game on Saturday?
Riley Pettijohn. I think he is the next in the line of freak show linebackers that James Laurinaitis has been able to develop. You've watched the progress that the progress that Peyton Pierce and Arvell Reese have made under James Laurinaitis. Sonny Styles developing as a linebacker. Riley Pettijohn has all of the measurables and intangibles as far as a physical freak out there, a guy that really goes out there and works. So to see him get that opportunity, especially with the idea that Arvell Reese could be a guy that we watch head to the NFL after this season, I think it would be Riley Pettijohn, one of the next guys up in that room. And I think he possesses all of the physical traits out there. So getting these reps for him early, I think is going to be important for his career, because I think that's going to be a guy that sees the field early as a sophomore.
So there you go. You heard it here first. A couple of big plays from Riley Pettijohn on Saturday. I'm thinking about it non-starter. I'm going with, I've said this one before, Jarquez Carter. We saw him get in the game on basically the last drive of the game, get a couple pass rushes in there. So yeah, I think he's going to be a guy on Saturday that's going to play a good amount of snaps. I think we're going to leave saying, hey, like this guy, he's next up on the defensive tackle room. So Jarquez Carter is my shout. But in the chat, let us know, who are we going to talk about on Saturday? Who is a non-starter? I see Devin Sanchez in the chat, man. Go down those recruiting boards. Who's going to be the guy? You got plenty to choose from.
Absolutely, Q. It is a live show here on a Friday. We appreciate everybody pulling up in the chat. It's always a good time talking to you guys in the morning, but we both got to get to work, so we got to get out of here. Q, aside from the new at Dead Air Sports Twitter account that everybody should be out there following after the show, that is at Dead Air Sports on Twitter, where can people find you?
Yeah, man, not hard to find when I'm not watching The Conjuring or He with Ron in the morning. I am on Twitter at City Boy Quentin. So
who's
go
City
ahead.
Boy Quentin? Why are you on him?
City Boy Quentin on Twitter. So you find me over there. If not there, find it Johnson on Instagram. And if not there, here at Dead Air Sports Monday through Friday with my guy on. Not hair. Here.
Yeah, bro. This is a big hair episode. I think Q's.
Well, we need that him sponsorship. I'm working on it.
Potential hair sponsorship, a him sponsorship, a trip to Turkey sponsorship, something around here.
I need a beard, man. I don't know what's going on here. This is the best I can do.
I did have the announcement about the Dead Air Sports Twitter, and I also wanted to mention another announcement that our full catalog of the Buckeye Roast is available here on the Buckeye Roast playlist on the Dead Air Sports channel. So if you were looking for our back catalog, you want to see some old episodes, some bad takes, you can go see our back catalog. All 165 episodes of the Buckeye Roast are available in the Buckeye Roast playlist here on Dead Air Sports. So make sure you check that out. We will have audio available for our back catalog and all episodes going forward here in the coming weeks. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to have some new cool members features to announce in the coming days. So lots of big news going on around here. We got the Twitter back. The TikTok's rolling. That's at 20,000 followers. Things are going good around here. We've been smashing that like goal of 100 likes an episode. It was getting spooky yesterday. We only got to like 105. I thought we were going to break our goal. There are 50 people in here watching right now. There are 37 likes on the video. Make sure you smash that like button. It costs you nothing. It helps us a ton. If you want to find me, you can find me here weekdays on the Dead Air Sports platform, talking all things Buckeyes here with my guy QP Ski, despite the name under him saying smash that like. We appreciate you guys tuning in. It's back. Just in case. Just in case they forgot. You can't have enough, Q. You can't have enough likes on the video. You know how my favorite little Wayne line is, I say it to my mom all the time: too much money ain't enough money. And I feel the same thing about likes around here.
I saw a horror movie last night. You can't just be changing things. And I look back like, what's going on, man? One more thing. Doug talked about it. He will be in the comment section after the show. So if you had a question, you had something that we missed, just go ahead and put it there. We answer all the comments after the show. So we will be in there. We can respond to you and make sure we get everybody covered. So make sure you do that.
Absolutely. If you want more content from us this weekend, Chris Drew and I will be live in the Bleacher Report app in the Ohio State team stream after the game for an instant reaction. So make sure you tune in there if you don't have a chance to catch it live or in the Bleacher Report app on Saturday. It will re-air on the Dead Air Sports platform on Sunday. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to catch that. And if you want to find me, you can find me here on the Dead Air Sports channel or on Twitter at 2Ts2_TES, or on the Dead Air Sports Twitter. If you're not following that, make sure you go find it. That's at Dead Air Sports on Twitter. We appreciate everybody tuning in. I got to get to work. You know how this thing ends. It's always go Bucks. And of course, OH.
I-O.
Example, when things get hard in life, you just keep swinging as hard as you can, you fight. That's our culture.
I promised you we had a plan. Remember that we talked about a plan? The plan was infallible. Part of that infallible plan is getting a team prepared, ready to go, so we start practice. Our coaches know what we got. And there's not one person in America I trusted more than Coach Mick and that staff. Think about this. 130 teams either today, they report, or they've already reported. 130. 16 weeks from now, there's going to be one champion. One champion in our conference, one champion on the side of our conference. And in the country, one team's going to do this. Not 36, not 48,